Hey, Ricky.
Hello, Michael.
I'm excited about tonight.
You're excited about tonight?
Man, so
Why
much
are
Boba.
you so excited about
Because
tonight?
there's so much Boba Fett. It's like a Boba feast.
It's Boba feast.
Yeah. I was talking to a friend of mine who he's a Star Wars fan. I went to go to his house, and what's hilarious about this guy, he's such a Star Wars fan, which I thought I was. He named his kids after the different characters, and his son is he loves being called Luke. He said he is his friends at school. He says, my dad named me, named me Luke, and I think it's pretty cool. So his son really loves it. Now his daughter doesn't care for it, Chewbacca, but so she's having a difficult time with that. But
I can see that.
Yeah. So hopefully she'll get good counseling for that. But
on that note, maybe we should start the show.
Okay.
It's the Speaking Nerdy podcast with your host, Mr. Mike Shilling.
And my good friend and compadre, Mr. Ricky Pope. Hey, I hear something in the background. And wait a minute, I got to scroll down 500 pictures to get to my to the thing that I want to do. Oh, who is it?
If you guys, there's so much that happens behind the scenes that's funnier than what happens on the show, guys.
Yeah.
If you just start watching us, thank you so much for watching. Let us know who you are and where you're watching from down in the comments. David Little, I saw your comment a minute ago, and we will definitely get to that conversation.
Yeah, exactly.
But not quite yet.
Not quite yet. But back to, I finally got to where I needed to be, and the one and only, our AKA Florida man himself, Todd V. Give it up. Hey, Todd.
Hey, I'm here from the land of the frozen orange juice.
Yeah, that's right. Concentration floor juice down in the land down under, the boot of America.
People in Miami are losing their minds.
They
do not know what to do. No one has any winter clothes.
Yeah. The thing is, they're
wrapping themselves in saran wrap.
Yeah, well, they're keeping fresh. So that's awesome.
Yes.
I'm not so sure.
Well,
freshly squeezed orange juice.
Well, folks, if you're here tonight, every week we're here every Friday night, 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern time. And tonight we are on our 5th episode of talking about the 5th episode of the Book of Boba Fett.
Woo!
And it's
super excited.
Chock full of boba. And
it is.
Isn't that a drink?
Full of boba.
It is
boba.
A drink.
We should have some boba. So tonight, David, stop it now.
We'll get to that, David.
We're getting to that. You silly man, you. But yeah, basically you're right, David. So
and this is we are doing this live. So any comments you put up, we might put on the screen.
Oh, I love that, David.
Oh yes, my wife read that last night.
That was on one of our stupid news. Yeah, those suckers.
Yes, it was.
Yeah,
falling iguanas. Falling iguanas.
There are people getting hit by falling iguanas.
That's when you know the
we
end
have
is coming.
Iguana umbrellas that they mount to your head.
Yeah,
I actually have one.
Most
people's are only about this big. Mine goes all the way past my shoulders.
Yeah, I'm not surprised of that, Todd. I'm not surprised that you have that, but yeah, like instead of raining men, it's raining iguanas. But
lizards.
Hey, let's do some nerd happenings of the week. We're gonna go through some stuff that's going on.
Just have a few things tonight. Yeah. Did you have anything, Mike?
No,
what I have. Okay.
Yeah, just basically
just
what you got
going. Just a couple of things really quick. It looks like they have finally come to an agreement. And Sony Pictures we're going to work with Netflix.
That's a big deal.
On a live action Masters of the Universe movie.
Oh.
These are just it looks like the talks are done. It's supposed to happen,
Yeah.
but no production, no writing has happened.
You know, the last time we had a live action He-Man, you know how well that went.
Yeah, wasn't it Dolph Lundgren?
Yeah.
Yes.
I got a bad feeling about this.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, and a lot of people weren't super happy
Yeah.
with the latest results of the He-Man cartoon that Netflix put out. So, you know, we'll have to see.
Yeah.
Wait and see. Probably a couple of years down the road before we will see anything from that. But are you looking forward to it or not so much?
Not really. I still have, you know, what's the guy from who played him last time?
Dolph Lundgren.
Yeah, I still have nightmares from that. Yeah, so I don't
about you,
know.
Todd?
I mean, I did it say anything about the actor?
No.
Okay.
Nothing.
Well,
nothing. No. There's like.
I
So
mean, it's
far,
true.
there's no casting.
Yeah.
Pretty much nothing.
I don't know. I'm not real excited about it. It's one of those things. If it comes out, I'll watch it, but I'm not. It's not on my radar right now.
Yeah. Me too. Same way. I'll definitely check it out. I want to
Yeah.
see the train wreck, basically.
Basically,
You, Todd? No, not you.
No,
Okay.
the live action ruined the cartoon for me.
Yeah.
I just couldn't go back after that.
Wait.
I mean, the guy that they had playing Skeletor, the makeup was just
yeah.
Yes,
you could
so
see
bad.
his eyes.
Hopefully,
You're
we
not
get
supposed to
something-
see his eyes.
Hopefully, yeah.
Hopefully, we get something better this time.
Oh, by
So-
the way,
yeah, go
Nicolas Cage is not going to play
I know
the tiger.
he is not going to play Tiger King. He's
Yeah,
not
so,
going to play Joe Exotic.
Yeah, so
Really?
Actually, along
Because
with-
that's like right in his wheelhouse.
yeah,
They canceled that particular.
which that would have been perfect. I
show.
would have watched that.
I know. There is going to be a scripted Tiger King show. There is going to be one,
This is gonna
but you've probably never heard of any of the actors in it.
now
and
the person that plays, what's her name?
Carol.
Carol, the one
Baskin.
that killed her husband, or
Yeah.
anyway, fed her, and it's being played by the
Lorena
same
Bobbitt?
late, huh?
Lorena Bobbitt.
No,
Wrong
that's
person.
that's a different one. No, it was actually being played by the female actress that played in Battlestar Galactica. She had blonde hair. I can't remember her name. She's
Played Starbuck.
Yeah, she's played in different sci-fis, but that is her right there. So anyway, we'll just
well,
move
as
on
a
from
side
that.
note, since you
Yeah.
mentioned that, as a side note, in this last week, Joe Exotic did get resentenced.
Oh, did he?
Apparently, there was some problem with his sentencing.
Yeah.
And instead of having 22 years in jail, he's going to only have to serve 21.
Well, see, things are looking up.
He got
for
a
him.
deal.
Things are looking up.
Best I could figure out is
Yeah.
there was some error in the sentencing,
Yeah.
and 21 was technically the maximum they should have been able to give him. But so going on,
Yes, sir.
Jason
Oh,
Momoa,
David
Jason
knows the
Momoa.
name of the lady.
Tricia Hilfer,
Okay,
I believe that's right.
that's right.
So Jason Momoa is in the news a little bit here.
Yeah.
We're hearing he is going to play a villain in the next Fast and Furious movie, Fast and Furious 10. So, in my opinion, that either means Jason Momoa is desperate or he just feels like this would be a fun bit to do. I'm not sure which.
I hope it's the latter. I really
hope so,
do,
too.
because I do like him a lot. He's played in some good Netflix, a couple of good
Yeah.
movies there, but
I really like him.
I like
he
him
seems
too.
like he seems like a great actor, and from what I've seen off screen, he seems like a legitimately nice guy.
yeah.
So I hope this works out for him, and I'm sure this has something to do with the fact that recently, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson has He has said, I will not return.
Yeah, he does not want to work with Vin Diesel. I don't know what happened behind the scenes, but apparently those two do not get along. So
that's what I hear.
Oh well, hey.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm looking forward to that. I'm not.
Katie
Sackhoff.
That's who I was thinking of. Katie Sackhoff.
Okay.
Yeah. So, what else?
She's in the series Another Life on Netflix, which I just finished watching, which was outstanding.
So,
all right. So then we have Peter Billingsley is going to return to reprise his role from A Christmas Story, and we're going to have a new Christmas story called A Christmas Story Christmas, set in the 70s, and apparently he is going to try to give his kids the kind of holiday that he had. Not looking forward to that one, Mike?
Yeah. No, I'm sorry, that was an accident. I don't know. Sometimes some things are better left alone. But sometimes you're surprised, like the latest Ghostbusters movie, which had a lot of great critics and acclaim. So, but I don't know. How do you top a Christmas classic like that? I mean,
I don't know. How do you?
If they have him like show up as a grown up in that bunny outfit, that's it. How much you want to bet that is going to be a scene? Because that's an iconic scene.
Yes.
A grown man
in a bunny suit.
That
could make the movie. That might make it
worth
watching.
Make the movie.
I don't know what this is going to be like. I don't even know how to take this from this point. Supposedly being produced by Vince Vaughn and by Billingsley. So we will see. Next up and last is Godzilla Monsterverse is headed to Apple TV Plus. So going to have some kind of television series set in the Monsterverse, but it is going to go to Apple TV Plus, which probably means I won't watch it because I don't have Apple TV Plus.
No.
Me neither.
But for those of you in the audience who are kaiju lovers, is this going to make you go get Apple TV Plus if you don't already have it? I'm curious. If you love kaiju and you want to see the Monsterverse show, let us know in the comments if that's going to make you buy in.
What did you say? What was it again? What's the name?
Kaiju.
Bless you. So, that's all I wanted.
Wow, you walked right into that, Ricky.
I was reaching for that. I wanted it to happen. So now we're going to talk about, the book of Boba Fett, and every chapter is full of Boba Fett. But no, not really, except this one. That's
David
right.
Little, you put David Little's pop-up comment back up, Todd. You mean Mando?
That's right. And no, this is not
the least of Boba Fettie Boba Fett show so far.
And this scene is not the beginning of a skin effects. I can't talk. But anyway, boom, there you go. I mean, now I knew that eventually the Mandalorian was going to show up.
Oh,
but
absolutely.
I didn't think it was going to be an entire. From day one, we knew that, but I didn't realize there was going to be a whole show dedicated to it.
From day one, I knew it would happen.
Yeah.
After previous episode, episode 4, I knew it was going to happen. Episode 5, no doubt. But I didn't, like you said, I didn't expect a whole episode.
See, in my mind, I thought it might be just maybe a 10-minute or 5-minute cameo at the very end that would branch over to the new season of The Mandalorian. But no, this was pretty big, and of course, this is the return of the Mandalorian, just like the name explained.
This is Mandalorian,
yes,
chapter. 17? How many chapters do we have already?
Oh my goodness, yes.
He's exactly right.
Music, yes, it was definitely Mando music at episode 4.
Exactly.
And that's why we all knew he was going to show up.
Yeah, when
episode
David.
5.
from the end
giveaway.
of episode 4, you know, of course, the between Boba and Fennec, the conversation was, you know, we need to prepare for war. How much treasure do you have? We have plenty, but I have plenty of credits, but I'm short on muscle. And of course, Fennec says, well, you got to know where to look. And that's when we all knew what was going to show up. So we see our good friend Mando back bounty hunting again, the thing that he does best. But in this situation, he's looking for information. Apparently, I really think this scene was pretty cool. This was a Clatoon. It's a Clatunian. Clatunian thug. I don't know. But apparently, this is my favorite part. Bam! He has a cyber. He has the dark blade
Saber.
and dark saber. So
I love the fact that he's using it.
Exactly.
He has this weapon, and you know we never really saw him. I mean, he got it right at the end of Mandalorian.
Yeah.
We never really saw him with it in action. Honestly, I didn't really expect him to see him use it.
No,
I thought he was just going to carry it around. But I was super surprised they decided to go ahead and use it in the series.
Yeah.
I'm happy, though.
He didn't use it very well, though.
No, he didn't actually.
He cut himself.
Yeah, and I think it goes back to, and even goes back to when we, you know, animated series in the history. It's pretty much you have to be led by the blade. You can't fight against the blade. And I think we find out later on that he learns more of that in that lesson. But but he eventually, oh, I love this part. Look at that. That's a good one right there.
Yep.
And of course, this is my favorite part when it's like butter. I mean, it's like butter.
Man,
I mean,
he is brutal with this blade.
he is. I mean,
It's
it was
by far the probably
the
the most brutal fight we have seen on Mandalorian or Book of Boba Fett.
It's
so
almost
far,
like
I
they
think.
flipped. It's almost like Boba and Mando flipped. I mean, you know, we remember Mando. You know, we remember Boba Fett in the last, you know, episode, in the last, yes, the last episode of Talk to Me, of Mandalorian.
Mandalorian?
Yeah, I mean, he's taking out the stormtroopers left and right.
Oh, yeah.
So
Brutally.
But it wasn't,
brutal.
it was a brutal battle, but it wasn't over the top gory.
Oh yeah, he was.
You know,
True.
he was cracking heads, but we didn't physically see the heads crack.
Yeah, we didn't see people cut in half like a magic show. We didn't see that at all.
No.
Big show gone wrong.
No, but yeah, apparently, I guess now in the situation here, from my understanding, is that there was a bounty, and I guess he's looking for information. And this is the thing: he was. We all know that eventually he's looking for the Children of the Watch. And my understanding, I guess, from the previous, he was supposed to take back Grogu, and then once he did take him back to a Jedi, he was supposed to return, I guess, to the fold.
And join, yeah.
And join again.
But I guess the fold had moved? Is that
Yes,
the way
because-
you followed this?
Yeah, because Navarra
because of
was the last place, you know, they were exposed. You know, people knew where they're at. They were supposed to be in hiding, so they had to find a new place of hiding. And I think this is why Mando was trying. This is why Mando was trying to get information, how to get down. I guess the lower levels of I don't know the planet's name. It was interesting planet. It almost looks like the ring of Halo.
Well, I was going to say it reminded me much of Ringworld.
Yes.
Yeah,
novels.
exactly.
Yeah.
It even had the shadow squares.
Yeah. So, so he got his information, and I get this is kind of cool. Apparently, I guess there were several. He used his visor, to get him, you know, to find out the actual location of where his, I guess, the Children of the Watch were located at. Anything that you saw up to this point that in between that. I don't know. Any observations?
I thought it was interesting that he was like, I don't want the money. I just want the information.
Yeah, exactly.
I thought that was kind of, it was an interesting take. It's like,
yeah,
I didn't take this bounty to get this money. I took this bounty so that I could get information. And probably my favorite part is when he walks back into the cutting room floor.
Yeah, exactly.
And he says, "All right, I don't have any beef with any of you guys."
Right.
There's lots of beef hanging up.
Right.
I don't have any beef with any of you guys. There's a bunch of credits back there.
Yeah.
They're all yours. I just want to walk out. And
Right.
they're like, "All right, we're in."
Yeah, in the beginning, I thought they were, they had their, they had their cleavers and they had their, and I thought, okay, this is going to turn into a fight. But apparently, New Republic credits outweighed a confrontation with the man that just killed their boss. So I think that was pretty good. What did David Little say?
He's referring to you were talking about the planet.
Oh, okay.
That it was the Quat drive yards from the MMO.
Could be.
Oh, from the
ring world was as well.
Yeah.
Someone commented on the Facebook page on the group that's where it was from.
Interesting.
Okay.
So yeah, it was, but it was interesting. One of my favorite scenes was, of course, it was after he cut off the head of his bounty, and he was on the way into the elevator, and he's on the way up on the elevator, and the alien right next to him, he looks, and then he looks away. This little comedic scene where it's like,
yes,
and he looks back, and I thought it was going to happen a couple of more times, but it didn't.
But the thing is when that alien got on the elevator, he was acting all like aloof, like looking down his nose at Mando, and then he sees the head.
Yeah,
and he looks at Mando, looks at him, and he like snatches his head back straight.
Yeah, exactly. He
like,
realized
am I gonna survive this ride?
What's really interesting is this whole show kind of brings up some questions that we had at the end of The Mandalorian of the last season, and it because I don't know how many times we brought up the subject about is Grogu just a past? Is this completely this story is ended and something totally new is going to happen? And we know what kind of an emotional ending it was between Grogu and Dar Jinn, and this almost this parental child type of this this unity there. And so, and I think it's interesting because he goes back to the Children of the Watch, and he finds his way down, and of course the armor's there, and then you have of course he's being tended to by, I believe his name is Faz. It's
that.
Yeah, Faz Vizsla, and I know there's a pronunciation there that I can't hit on that, but I don't know. Is there some stuff on the, it's interesting. He comes back to the fold. There's only 3 of them left,
right?
Which I think is interesting. There's only 3 of them left. And then he starts talking about the story. He talks about the story after he mentions Bo-Katan, and she talks about the story of the Purge, which
which they showed.
Yeah,
that was pretty dramatic.
It was pretty dramatic.
The night of the 1,000,000 tears, 1,000 tears,
1,000 tears.
Yeah, it was pretty intense. I mean, she was telling the story, of what happened to Mandalore. And I thought it was interesting. Of course, we see the moon. And I guess in the story, she talks about if it wasn't for them being hidden up on the moon of Concordia, they wouldn't have survived the Great Purge either. And so, of course, totally devastated Mandalore. I mean, the scene was like pretty impressive. And this was interesting too. This reminded me of something from Terminator. I mean, you see the
I know, right?
Yeah, didn't you get that same feel?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know.
I thought this whole storyline was interesting.
Yeah.
This whole idea of, you know, Mandalore, the Mandalorian wants to join back with the group.
Yeah.
And, you know, he gets asked a simple question.
Yeah.
That he doesn't feel like he can answer.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think he was challenged. I think they did the armorer and the Mandalorian did training with the Darksaber.
Yes.
And Mando could not control or wheel it the way she instructed him. Now, somehow in this whole thing later on, Faz thinks, I'm going to challenge you.
Yeah.
For the saber. Now, I think the whole problem with this is Mando did not win the Darksaber by killing his opponent. And I think that's a major rub for the Children of the Watch. And I think that goes back to what she was saying. And I was wanting to go back and this was this thing what the armor was saying. She said, she says that Bo-Katan, she once laid claim to ruling Mandalore based purely on the blood and the sword you now possess, but it was gifted to her, not won by creed. And,
right.
And later on, she talks about, you know, she said, Bo-Katan was born of a mighty house, but they lost sight of the way. And of course, she blames the Great Purge because the ruler of Mandalore did not win, did not go by the creed.
And that's part of the whole idea of, you know, because when we saw Bo-Katan in live action Mandalorian, they kind of pick on the Mandalorian, almost for being sold out to this creed of never removing his helmet, because they don't buy into that. They just take their helmets off whenever it makes sense.
Yeah, exactly.
But so that there's definitely these at least two conflicting different ideas of what it means to be a Mandalorian. There is, you know, the Children of the Watch, and then there's the people that follow whatever it is Bo-Katan does. So I thought that was kind of it was kind of interesting back then that they picked on him almost for following that, and then but they're so sold out to it that question of, did you take has anyone seen you without your helmet?
Exactly.
Is ultra important. It's so important that it takes you out of the way.
Yeah. Yeah, it was, you know, so much happened in that scene with him and the Children of the Watch. I mean, and I mean, really, that's, for me, I think that was probably the most pivotal chapter or section of the actual episode, because so much was unpacked. You know, we had information about the Great Purge and how the Children of the Watch blamed, Bo-Katan because she wielded the Darksaber without actually earning it in battle. And we all know that, you know, there's almost that condescending, language towards Mando as they're asking him, how did he come about getting the saber?
Right.
And he talks about how, you know, of course, you know, Moff Gideon. Well, did you kill Moff Gideon? Well, no. Yeah. Well, Moff Gideon is the plight for so many of what happened to our people. What happened to him? Well, he went to the New Republic for interrogating, and he'll be given to justice there, which is totally different than the creed of the Children of the Watch. So, in all of this, you know, he's already got a bunch of marks against him. And of course, at the very end with, have you, with his helmet being removed. I mean, he's basically cast out. I said, now he did say something in there, and I can't remember. He said, is there any way I can repent for what I did?
Yes.
Can you?
Only in the living waters of the mines.
And he says and then he makes the comment, there hardly any mines left.
They were all destroyed.
They were all destroyed. So what do you think?
Which implies that you can't get there.
Yeah.
That there's this particular water that washing in this water purges you of your sins, quote unquote.
Yeah.
For lack of a better word. But there's no way to get there.
Yeah.
And she's like, tough noogies, not my problem.
Exactly. Do you think somehow we're going to revisit that? Do you think?
I think this episode is basically a backdoor pilot for season 3 of The Mandalorian.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I think so too. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you now know.
Yeah.
The full. You basically know the plot of Mandalorian season 3.
Yeah.
He's going to go visit Grogu for some reason. Yeah. He's going to go, do his little thing there. Grogu may or may not, probably will, travel with him to some extent. And his goal is to redeem himself.
Yeah, I think he has there is this theme also about him. You can tell that he wants to connect with Grogu again. And and of course he has the Beskar spear that he was given to by Ahsoka and that was because he said it was given to me by a Jedi. And of course
that was an interesting. Her reply to that was interesting.
Yeah. So you met a Jedi. And her concern was, I think the armor concern is that, Beskar should never be made as a weapon. It should be armor, because Beskar weapons is the only thing that can pierce the armor of a Mandalorian wearing Beskar. And so I think she saw that as, I don't know, that because, for the longest time, the Jedis and the Mandalorians, they were enemies.
Yeah.
And so, he tells a story, of course, of the Mandalorian Jedi who actually was the one who forged the Darksaber. So,
which I thought was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
She says Baskar's not supposed to be used to make weapons.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, the Darksaber, it's Beskar that, Beskar that's made in a way you've never seen before.
Yeah, the hilt.
I'm like, wait.
He talks about the hilt of it. Yes, yeah. So,
I'm like, wait, that's still a weapon. I mean, are we just going to ignore the fact
that's
that's
just a one
weapon?
and done deal? That's a one and done deal. That's it. There's no longer.
Are we just gonna go with the idea that, well, the hilt is Beskar, but the sword itself
is something mystical, Jedi, Mandalorian, witch type of deal. So
I'm like, whatever. That's just lame. That's lazy writing, right?
That's right. I don't know,
man.
But of course, then he gives the Beskar spear, and she asks, "What do you want to make this?" And I want to make this for Grogu, and she says, "Well, Grogu is part of the Jedis. They're no longer with you anymore." And he says, "I want to make it for the Foundling because what was interesting how he said it. He talked about the give me a minute here to think about this. He made the comment about in order to master the ways, but he said she says the opposite of our creed, loyalty and solidarity are the way. And he was talking about, yes, the Jedi has to, and she basically said Jedis has to leave attachments, which was the relationship. And he's quoting the Mandalorian creed, which has to do is the opposite, which is loyalty and solidarity. And so it sounds like to me there's a part of him, he wants Grogu back. I get that feeling. I think maybe there's something inside of him maybe feels like he made the wrong decision of letting Grogu go with the Jedi. any thoughts about that? Because there has to be a motivation behind that, because he talks about how he wants to see him. He wants to see him and make sure he's safe.
Didn't he promise Grogu at the end of season 2 that he would find him again?
That's a good question. I don't
or
think
he
so.
would see him again.
So.
I think there was something that kind of an exchange. He promised that he would come find him.
What kind of armor did you think? I mean, it looked like
chainmail.
Chainmail.
You remember those little rings that
Yeah.
fell down when she was working on it?
Yeah.
That's why I thought it was chainmail.
Yeah, I think it's chainmail. I think
That makes sense.
It's it's Frodo's mithril coat. You know,
basically.
You know, I think that's where we're going here.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, he'll definitely. I mean, there's another bit later on in the show that definitely leads us to say we're gonna see Grogu again.
Oh yeah,
and they're gonna travel. We haven't gotten there.
Oh yeah,
yet.
you were already reading my. Yeah, I said this earlier. I was talking with Todd, but we'll wait. Wait
I know what
on
you're
it.
talking about.
Yeah, we'll wait later for that.
We're only like halfway through the show right now. There's still another half of the show.
I mean,
to
the
go.
other half of the show, but yeah, I mean, well, you know, it's he takes a trip to Tatooine, and you know, and I guess he goes sees Rita. He goes see Rita Perlman.
It's not Rita Perlman
from Cheers.
I don't know why you
on
keep
the
saying that's Rita
on the
Perlman.
droid.
It's not Rita Perlman.
It's not.
I can't remember her
Where
name. But
everybody
it's not
knows
Rita
your droids. Dun 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 dun.
Oh my
no.
gosh.
No.
Okay. Before we leave the coven here, the
coven.
children of the corn, whatever they're called.
Corn, yes.
Craven.
Yeah.
Is it? I think it's Craven, isn't it?
Criff Claven. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, before we leave them, my favorite part is she ties up the little tiny male suit in something that looks suspiciously like Grogu's head.
Yeah, I noticed that. Let me see. I think I have a little piece of that
you have
somewhere.
A picture of it? There
Look
it is.
At that.
It's the one photo you didn't snap.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, you know, it's funny to me. Oh yeah, this is the scene where they're practicing. I just
we actually talked about this out of order.
Yeah,
like
no,
all that
okay.
happened, and then Fast, says he wants to challenge him.
Yeah, exactly.
To a duel for the saber.
For the saber,
which I thought was kind of interesting. Neither of them know how to use the saber.
Neither one of them.
Neither of them are good at it.
No.
Which is kind of funny.
It's funny. It makes me think about how Moff Gideon, he used it so well. So he knew how to wield the saber. He knew how to be one with the saber, if you think about it. Which is interesting because the only way he was defeated because Mando had the Beskar spear, and that was the only way he was able to do that. But and then he goes, "Bye-bye, Mando. Bye-bye." Yes. Of course, and there you go. And then he's looking at it again on his way to Tatooine.
Oh my goodness. Getting on this ship.
Oh my goodness, yes.
My favorite line, I know everything that's in there. How many of you thought he was going to show up and the dark saber was going to be gone?
I did.
I did.
They had to do that on purpose. I mean, they're good writers, because I'm like, okay, he's going to get off the ship on Tatooine, and someone stole the dark saber, and then there you go. Part of the quest
I thought
is
that's
finding.
where we were going.
Yeah, so
we didn't go there apparently.
No, apparently we didn't. We ended up going to Rita Perlman's place.
It's not Rita Perlman.
I'm sorry, I get confused. It's one of those things. Oh, there you go. That reminds me of the little swan napkins on top of tables when you go to fancy places.
Have you ever been to Disney World?
No, I haven't.
Okay, when you go to Disney World, if you stay on property, as they say,
fancy.
When you leave your room and you come back,
yes,
all the washcloths are turned into little animals. It totally reminds me of that.
I don't know. I find that disturbing, actually. You know,
Yeah, it's all
I mean,
folded
they
into
don't. I mean, they
animals
don't
and-
take what I've already washed with and turned it into animals, do they? Or is it fresh,
No,
clean?
no,
Okay,
fresh, clean linens.
yeah. Okay, I guess so. I mean, on the way to Tatooine and landing in Tatooine, and if that's not good enough, there's Rita Perlman.
Oh my gosh. I'm gonna look up her freaking
what do you-
name right now.
Her Paley Amato, I guess what it is. I meant her actress name, but the actual character Pili Mato. Anyway, I guess Mando was supposed to come back, and I guess from my understanding, she was supposed to find another crest. Was it a Blazer crest?
Razor
Crest.
Yes, because it blew up, which I was upset because I bought the Lego set. Okay, and I thought this is cool, and then it ended up like what, destroyed in pieces. So I had to like recreate it and drop mine on the ground, so all the pieces were everywhere.
Yes.
And people come take a look at it, and what is it? And I say, it's a Razor Crest, man. It's the Razor Crest. But people can't tell.
Was the Razor Crest.
Was. But it was
Sad
interesting. And I love the part where Rita Perlman actually dated the Jawa.
Oh, when she was talking Jawanese.
That was
Jawan.
yeah,
Yeah. I mean,
that
it
was actually pretty impressive. By the way, her name is Amy Sedaris.
Sedaris.
David's joining your club.
Hey, Aldrin Lego Planet. That's right. That's right. That's exactly right.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, what about this? Since the Razor Crest is a pile of Lego, he comes and shows up to another pile of Lego that he has to put together.
And what's, I love how they do that they kind of do my words are hard tonight, how they do kind of a salute to the past. And this is like, well, I mean, if you remember the Phantom Menace, was the Naboo fighters. Remember that? This is with the remnants
absolutely.
of it. Yeah.
This
So
is a Naboo fighter, and
commissioned by the Queen of Naboo.
And they promptly turn it into a hot rod.
Yeah, basically.
With everything, including a blower on top.
Exactly.
Yeah, like a Corvette.
I was like, when I saw that ending, the end product, I'm like, it's a hot rod. It's
basically
like, not even. I mean, we're looking at 1950s. We got the air box hanging out on top of the hood, and it flies like one.
Okay, now listen, I'm going to be really ticked off when I buy this Lego set and they destroy it. Okay, because I was thinking, because I'm gonna, if they come out, and they will, they're gonna come out with a Naboo Mandalorian Bubba. I'm gonna buy.
Oh
it.
yeah, I almost texted you and said, "Hey, you gonna buy this?"
Oh, really? That is so funny. I know.
I almost texted you, and I decided not to.
You should have, because that's probably the same time I was thinking it in my head. That's hilarious. Yeah, but I like the nod to the past, So I thought that was pretty cool. But
honestly, this goes along. This idea that this is a hot rod kind of goes along with the weirdness of the Vespa scooter.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Did you see the what was it? It was on a TikTok or the video on Facebook where they just they basically ran it faster. This is how it should have been.
I haven't seen it.
Now I've seen
it up.
Now I've seen the Seinfeld one with George Costanza is on, his
yes.
little, but yeah, they did one where they just kind of speed it up. It's basically I thought that was funny, but
that's funny. What did David just say? You put it up there for a second.
Oh, they sell out too fast. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, the Jawa thing was a little creepy.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna go. she kept saying they were fuzzy, and she just said it over and over again, and it got a little weird really fast.
He said, I dated a Jawa for a while. They're quite furry,
Quite
furry, and lots
Very
of
furry.
issues. And I'm thinking, I
Very
don't even
furry.
want to know about this. I don't even know if it's an innuendo. I don't know what it is, but I don't want to know. Okay, so
Did you see the meme about? I don't. Maybe I shouldn't say that.
anytime on this, this is what this was Ricky tells me all the time. Listen, if you don't think it should be on the show, it shouldn't be on the
Probably
show.
shouldn't be on the show.
Oh, I want to tell. So
I can
bad.
tell. I could just tell. This is the Todd. Let me say it. Look right there. Oh,
I don't know. I'm just gonna say whatever she did say about the Jawas can't be as bad as Peacemaker has been. So
let's not.
No,
go there
it's not that
now.
bad. No.
No, I don't know.
although I will say it was a little awkward.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
thought it was kind of strange. This is what we were getting to, and of course, this is your final product, and I thought it was as soon as I saw it, where she actually hollowed out the spot
Yes.
where usually there is
He
a
asks where the-
astromech.
Yeah,
is
he
in
asks
there.
why is there no astromech in there? And her comment, I love her comment. It's like,
Yes.
I know exactly why I did this, but I'm not gonna say exactly why I did this. I just gonna say, oh, the way you are, I figured you'd want to do all the navigation yourself.
Exactly. You're the
Rather
love that-
than-
yeah.
Rather than saying, well, obviously it's for your little friend because you're gonna go pick him up.
Exactly.
Is she
David
related to Jason Sudeikis? Spelled differently.
Well, I think it would be funny because
Sedaris.
I think it would be
Sudeikis.
funny though because he played the speeder bike trooper that pounded on Grogu's head on the first and he got so much
Speaking of odd things, I was just checking out IMDb.
yeah.
Paz Visal, whatever the guy's name is.
Yeah, it's
Paz,
close
I'm
enough.
going to go with Paz Visal.
Yes, Pez.
The voice of that character it was actually Jon Favreau.
Really?
What?
Yes. The actor inside the costume, inside the helmet, was not Jon Favreau, but
Yeah,
the
because
voice
that
was.
would I don't even think that would yeah.
Yeah. So they had a separate guy who played the apparently he's uncredited in the end credits. But he was actually the guy in the suit, and then Jon Favreau voiced it.
Can you imagine that guy at a party? You know, I was in the Book of Boba Fett. You know that dude?
But it's like the guy that was in Darth Vader's costume.
Oh, exactly.
I was in Darth Vader's costume.
Exactly.
I was gonna say one of the things I thought was pretty funny is when they're assembling the Naboo fighter, he holds up this panel and he asks the little droid, "Where's this go?" And I looked at my wife and I said, "What is that, like the last piece?" And he can't figure out where to put it. He's
It's a
standing right
Lego.
in front of the spot where it goes.
It's like a Lego, man.
It's Lego. Yeah.
I think it's pretty cool. He takes off, and I mean, this is really. Yeah. Look at it. It's a hot rod. You're right. Look at that.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, it's like American graffiti or something.
Yes.
I mean, look at that.
Yes. This whole show has been very American graffiti from time to time.
Yeah, I mean, and I guess they tested out Beggar's Canyon, which is everybody knows Beggar Canyon's the reference, that Luke
Yes.
makes, and
Isn't that where the pod races were done? I thought that's what that looked like.
That
Yes.
is also where the pod races
yeah,
happen.
exactly.
So all the above.
Yeah. I mean, it's a slick looking starfighter. I think that's one thing. He had he's the Razor Crest. He was so used to flying, which was, it's nothing like this. So the next thing you know,
Right.
he's flying. And I like the term. They have these different terms. Like, what's the one they use for a cuss word? Dark fank, dark.
Yeah, I don't know what they used.
But it was one. But he uses one when he gets out. So wizard. How was it? Wizard.
Wizard. Yeah.
And that is a callback to one of the prequels where I think Anakin uses the term wizard.
Wizard.
In like the first prequel.
And that was the kind of ship Anakin crashed into the warship that was around Naboo.
No, yes, right.
Yeah. Remember when it was on autopilot and it took off with him? And I was going to say, because she was kind of alluding to the fact when she was trying to sell this thing to Mando that it had some kind of history
at first. Yeah.
Yeah, it had some kind of history. And I go, oh, don't tell me that's the one that Anakin was on.
You know, that's a good point. I didn't even think of that because they love making these subtle connections like that.
Yeah.
So I didn't even think about that.
Yeah,
how cool
it
is
would
that?
be a little bit of a stretch just saying, how did it get there?
Yeah.
Not impossible. I did like the fact that the Jawas just straight up say they literally stole some parts. They went and cut parts off of a ship while it was sitting there waiting for repairs.
Yeah, off the pike ships, of all ships, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, that line right there made me think of these guys that go around stealing catalytic converters.
Yeah, exactly.
To sell them. But
they're kind of I mean, kind of like Radar from MASH. Where did I get this from? You don't want to know.
You don't want to know.
You don't want to know.
Accept it and move on.
I didn't have the picture of the scene, but what do you think about? There was one scene where the kid was, I can't remember the alien name, but he
looking out the window.
I thought that was kind of different. I don't know if that was needed. It was okay.
I mean, it was a callback to earlier in the show where he had looked at the Mandalorian over the top of the seat.
I guess so. Yeah.
It's like, oh, he was traveling with us. Oh, now he's got his own ship.
Yeah, exactly.
It was cute, but it didn't need to be there.
Oh, I remember that episode.
Radar mailed it.
David
Yes.
Yeah.
I loved that show. By the way, side note, I think it's HBO Max. You can watch all of MASH.
Oh, really?
Really?
I'm pretty sure it's HBO Max.
That's interesting.
I'll have to.
I love
will check
MASH.
and confirm that.
If it's on, I'll watch it.
Yeah.
Yep. Sorry about that.
No,
side check there.
Yeah, no, I think that's awesome. This is a scene that, of course, he gets hailed by two New Republic pilots. And, of course, we remember one of the pilots, which I think is interesting.
Oh, yeah.
It's almost like a replay of the Razor Crest scene where he's basically he's pulled over by two New Republic pilots on these X-Wings.
Mm-hmm.
But in this one, I kind of miss not having David Filoni in it. He was actually in the first one. He was Trapper Wolf was his character name. And I think it was interesting where, they basically pulled him over, because he didn't have a beacon, or there was some type of, they didn't have a beacon. So he talked about, well, I just, this is a test pilot, I'm testing it out. I'll go back down and I'll take care of it right away. And of course, the lieutenant, he basically says, we're going to have to take basically remote control of your craft, which I thought.
I'll tell you what, let me just take control of everything. We'll just fly you back down.
I don't, but this guy right here, I don't know who he is. I guess he's one of the New Republic pirates. I like how they refer to them as officers. When did that all come about? Because is it just because now New Republic officers are pilots now, or
I don't know.
I don't know either.
They should have had lights on that like they did on Fifth Element,
or on Spaceballs. Yeah,
the police lights. Whoop whoop.
Now remember this guy right here. Remember him from the last time.
Yeah, that is Paul Sun-Hyung Lee.
Really?
That's the actor's name. By
He goes by
by the way, the other actor is Max Lloyd Jones.
Max Lloyd Jones. That's the actor's name, correct?
That's the actor's name.
Okay.
Now, this character that we have up on the screen right now is Captain Carson Teva.
I do have a question because they did leave. I mean, they did let him go. He let him go, basically.
Yeah.
But
He's
I mean,
like, you really want to go home and do all the reports?
But I like how it was almost like, I mean, he was playing coy. He knew who Mando was. I mean, he was, and I kind of liked how, he basically, what was it? He says, you sound familiar. You sound familiar.
Oh yeah, your voice sounds awfully familiar.
He says,
Now, didn't speaking of that, there was an episode where he got similarly pulled over by the two X-wing fighter pilots.
Yeah.
But then later on in the season, I don't know if it was the same show or not. The Razor Crest got trapped in a ice cavern. He was hiding from them.
Yeah, exactly.
And then he ended up doing something. What did he do?
Well, they ended up
that they let him go because of what he did. He shot somebody, or do you remember what it was?
I don't remember. I don't remember why they let him go, but they let him go. That was actually the first. That was the first episode. That he was in.
And I can't remember why they did. I know that he did something where Teva, Captain, is it Teva or Tever?
Teva.
We'll just call it Teva. Captain Teva. I remembered him doing something. I guess it won his approval of some kind. But I think in this situation too, I mean, he questioned him. He questioned him about a situation that happened back in Navarro, an incident involving of course, the Imperial remnants where they were, the battle that when they were trying to protect Grogu, and that whole situation. And of course, after that, it kind of like Hot Rod. He had like he had the
and the lieutenant's like, how did he jump?
Yeah, the nitrogen button, like a drag race or something.
I know.
He hits that thing, and he goes, bam! It's like something out of Star Trek, but there you go.
Well, you just saw the next sequel to Fast and Furious.
Oh my goodness!
Too Fast, Too Furious, 57.
Now I do have a question on this. Now, you can tell that Captain Teva he knows who Mando is.
Yeah.
He was being coy. I get the feeling that because he doesn't harass Mando, do you think because he sees Mandalorian as more of a friend, an asset than a foe? Because
I think that's kind of it. I think it's one of those, he broke the rules, but I know enough about this guy to know he's not really he doesn't create problems.
Yeah.
He just doesn't always follow all the rules.
Because I know
I'm okay with that.
I know Teva's biggest concern, because it was even in the last episode of The Mandalorian, he's concerned about stuff that's going on in the Outer Rim and people back home. He can't convince them that, there's some strange stuff happening out here. And of course it is, because you're seeing the remnants of the Imperial fleet. Of course, later on, we all know what that turns into later on. But he's one of those people who are trying to investigate what's going on, and because a lot of people, I think it's interesting because there must be some New Republic base out there in the Outer Rim, even though it's probably one of the most unpatrolled, parts of the galaxy. And so but he must be a constant out there.
So I know we have talked about this a little bit. We've talked about, will he see Grogu again? How's all that going to work?
Yeah.
We have to address the last line of the show. where Mando says, "I'm in. It's on the house, but I have to go see a little friend first."
Yeah.
So, does that mean the Mandalorian's probably not going to be in the next episode?
Well, that's interesting. That's how I came about it too. It's almost like I'm gonna help Boba, but I have to pay a visit. Well, or does it mean in the next? I mean, how many episodes we have left? This is 5.
2
we're
more,
on.
isn't it?
Is it 7 or 8?
I don't know. Are we gonna see Grogu in the next episode?
That's what I'm thinking.
See?
And
That's the thing.
then
It's like, are we even going to find out? No, 7 episodes. So what it's scheduled for. So there's only 2 more episodes.
And
Are we going to have no Boba Fett? Or sorry, no Mandalorian in the next episode? Or are we just going to time jump to he's already delivered the package and returned?
Yeah.
And we're not going to see Grogu.
I mean, or we're not going to see the complete finale of the Book of Boba Fett, and it continue. I hope not.
I hope that's not what
I hope they tie this in. They give it some type of a ribbon. But the way it's sent, if they're going to have, but if Mando is the muscle that they're referring to, which we know that's who they're referring to. I mean, duh.
Well, at least part of it.
Yeah, but if he's like you said, if he says he got to go visit first, he has to visit a little friend. Well,
how long is that going to take?
We only have 2. Yeah, exactly.
Is that just is he just going to do a quick there and back again? You know, this is an overnight flight with my new hot rod.
Surprise! Surprise! Look who's in the bubble. The green dude in the bubble.
Yeah, because she makes the comment that his ship can jump without a ring. Because you remember in the prequels, Obi-Wan had a ship.
They had a ship.
That it had to have this extra ring for them to be able to make the jump to light speed. And this ship doesn't need it. So that means he can go really fast if it's not that far away.
It's interesting that they went out of the way to explain that. I mean, so if
fasten your seatbelts, thanks. Nice one.
But it's now that you mention that, it is odd how they just
kind of throws that in.
They throw that in there. So does that have any? Does that play into what you were just talking about?
I don't know. Here's my thought. Here's what I think is going to happen.
Okay.
Personal opinion. I think. Earlier I said I hope that was going to be okay, never mind. Earlier I said that we just got the whole plot line for Mandalorian season 3. I still think that's accurate.
Yeah, exactly.
I think we're not going to see Grogu.
Yeah.
I think it's just a fly there, drop off the package, say hi, fly back, and so the next episode is just long enough to, time jump just long enough for him to make the trip and be back and join into the fun.
I don't know. There's so much involved with. I mean, why does he want to bring back that chainmail? Does he know something that nobody else knows? Mando and Grogu and that whole thing. I mean, it's such.
He knows that a lightsaber can't cut through it.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and he knows the Jedi are going to be wielding lightsabers.
Yeah.
Maybe he's just worried about his little friend.
That's his creed is, loyalty and
yeah, but that just
family.
Seems too much of just a blip for me. I mean,
I don't know.
Just seems too much of a blip that again, or
are we going to find out that he got kicked out of the Jedi Academy because he's a little jerk that steals.
Grogu went to the dark side.
He pushes too many buttons and
eats too many eggs.
He was eating the lady's eggs. Yeah.
Frog legs.
Maybe he's just going to be one of those. He's too big a troublemaker. Here, take him back.
Yeah.
And we're going to see him show up. Maybe he's part of the muscle. in the next episode.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's wheeling his lightsaber around like the whole, like the Yoda scene in against Dooku.
Oh yeah.
So this is totally out there.
Yeah, I
weirdness, but I was thinking through this earlier. So it's been a few years now. Han Solo and Leia are together now. In the old Republic, they always took children early to be trained as Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
So is it possible that the Mandalorian arrives and there's Grogu and there is a super, super young Ben Solo training?
Yeah.
A 3 or 4 or 5 year old Ben Solo training along with Grogu.
That's possible.
Oh yeah, because this is during the time that Luke starts the new Jedi Academy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
is
he does he take him young like they used to do?
Yeah, exactly.
Or does he wait till he's older and that's part of the problem?
I kind of think the latter part is what happened.
I don't know. I just thought it popped into my head that it was like, oh, hey, we could see a young Ben Solo.
I don't know. You think that'd be too much?
I think probably it's too much. That's part of the reason I don't think we're going to see it at all. I think we're just going to hear that it happened.
Exactly.
That he went and he visited and he dropped off his gift and he flew back. Or he brings Grogu back because Grogu's a troublemaker. Jedi stealing your children. Kinda.
Yeah.
But you know what? I don't think we'll see a young Ben Solo. It just popped into my head that if we saw him training with Luke, theoretically we could. So do you think Fennec Shand is going to recruit some more people next episode? Or do you think they're all the muscle is just going to show up?
I don't know. I mean, when they talk about an army, we need an army. I don't know. Maybe next episode.
Mandalorian's good, but he's not an army.
Right.
You know, and this could be, the next episode could be her getting more people.
Well, see, is she going to be getting the band together one more episode? Or are we just going to jump ahead?
Yeah, are we going
to she got the band together?
Yeah.
Who's out there to recruit at this point? I think it's going to be a bunch of people that are leftover clones. It could be. Honestly, I think it's going to be a bunch of people that are unknowns or are super, super minor bit characters in comics, and they're just random thugs.
Former bounty hunters, probably.
Yeah, you're going to see somebody pop up like Bosk, or IG-88 pops up, or
What about the guys from the blind monk and his shock trooper friend from Rogue One?
Yeah, they're dead already.
Are they already dead?
Yeah, that's way after that.
Yeah, this.
Oh, okay, all right.
Pre-New Hope. So.
Well, then it probably won't be them.
But
yeah, I think
I'm thinking it's probably not them.
Man, but I'm with you.
Here at Speaking Irving, we have riveting. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
I'm with you, David. I don't know who else they could bring in that's named other than maybe Bo-Katan.
Well, and also too, I can't remember his name. We talked about him, the sheriff, bringing back the sheriff.
I could definitely
which
see
I
that.
would love to see, because there is some type of a camaraderie there. I mean, he used to have the armor on him. So
I think
I don't know. I think it's going to be small bit characters.
I think it'll be bit characters, except for the sheriff.
Yeah.
But I feel like if we have a whole, maybe Mando will bring Luke.
Now,
maybe, but that seems like a big.
That I tell you what, if that happened, I think the internet would poop themselves. I think.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All the sand people.
All the sand people. You know what though?
We discussed that.
We discussed that. And now I think because they're so tribal, that's not going to happen. But I think, maybe they're mad enough. Yeah, but they could be mad enough because because we don't know because the Sand People to the point were very tribal, but we really don't know the history about them past this point of the New Republic because you don't ever hear anything about the Sand People after that. So maybe
more deep. Nice.
But this could be the beginning of a Sand People kind of a nation, and they
because look at how many times we see that in other movies, like there's always the people are always broken up into tribes, and then one person comes and gels everyone together for a common cause. That storyline repeats over and over and over again throughout.
Braveheart. Yeah, exactly.
I think the bigger issue is going to be if we have to see a whole another episode of Fennec Shan collecting people, then the last episode is not going to be big enough for us to see a really good confrontation with the bad guys.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Because I can't remember their name right now. I said bad guys.
Pikes.
Pikes.
Yeah.
I've said since day one that I expect there to be a kind of a two-part, that's cohesive.
Yeah.
Two-part to be continued kind of episode that is the big fight.
Yeah, I would have
and that should start next week.
Yeah, it shouldn't. Yeah, don't.
Army of Jawas.
I would pay money.
Yes.
I would pay money to see that.
Yeah.
An army of tiny fighting furry Jawas.
Yeah.
Oh, what about the guys from the Endor, the Ewoks?
Yeah, I was getting ready to say much better than having to deal with the Ewoks. I had this up here. I don't know predictions.
What are your predictions on The Mandalorian season 3 based on? Well, I think I already gave my big one.
Yeah, you already did that.
That I think it is. I think that we now know what the big. I think we know what the plot is.
Yeah,
it's him trying to figure out how to redeem himself to the children of the. What is it?
Watch.
The
children
Watch.
of the Watch.
Yeah. So
that's number one. Number two is we will see Grogu again.
Yeah, and to the audience out there watching, comment. Let us know what do you think is going to happen in the next episode of the Book of Boba Fett. Are we going to see Grogu? Is Fennec going to recruit some more people? I agree with Ricky to make this really stand out and not fall flat. These two episodes has to quickly involve into the fight and the conflict over the house. And so I don't know. Yeah. But do you think you're going to see the question is, do we think we're going to see Mando again? I mean, if we don't, what a letdown that is. I mean, what do you think about that?
I think we're going to. Okay. I have no doubt we will.
Okay.
I have a question of whether or not we're going to see him next episode.
Oh, the one after.
Or he's going to fly in as the conquering hero.
Yeah.
Deus Ex Machina.
Last minute, yeah.
At the last minute.
The cavalry, basically.
On the third episode with a bunch of Jedi kids.
Not the ones that Anakin massacred.
No, new Jedi kids.
New Jedi's good because that's creepy. That would be creepy.
I don't think that's going to happen.
I hope not.
But I definitely just the way this show has been.
Yeah.
I totally could see, 15 minutes into the last episode, Mando finally shows up.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know who he shows up with, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
What do you think? Do you think he's going to show up next episode, or you think
I kind of going along the lines of what you're saying, because I think we saw a lot of Mando in this episode, and I think they probably want to focus back on Boba in the next one. So it may involve more Boba and Fennec and whatever army he has, and And I think you're right. I think possibly that the Mandalorian shows up at the last minute in the final episode because of after his trip to see Grogu. And I don't know if we'll see Grogu or not. I kind of agree with you. I think that would be over the top. I think maybe that might be something we see coming up to the new series of The Mandalorian. But that's my prediction. I think that's what's going to happen. I don't think we're going to see Grogu. I think it'd just be over the top. It'd be too much. David Little says, awkward moment, Jedi kids, Force ghosts meet Anakin, Force ghost. Yeah. Yeah, that would be something.
Well, that's awkward.
Yeah. Oh.
So I know it's not going to happen, but it would be so epic if one of the people that Mando shows up with is his friend, the lady shock trooper.
Oh yeah,
that would be epic, and that would have probably been the setup for her particular spinoff.
It's funny you said that. I thought, man, it would be great if it would have been one of the greatest kept secrets ever if she would come back. I know it's not because of all the political stuff, and we don't go there. But she was a great character, and I really Cara Dune. I love the character, and the way it left off on the last Mandalorian, it was set up for her to be back again, and and I'm interested how if she's not going to be surprised coming back, which I doubt she'll be back.
Maybe they recast it.
But how? We can't do a Bewitched on this deal. We can't do.
I don't know. I don't think they will.
We can't do a Bewitched on this deal. I think so. It'd be interesting how they do that. Are they going to make it into a big deal, or just going to be a subtle? Oh yeah, she tripped off a rock and fell into a sarlacc. Kind of a deal. So I don't know. I think it's sad because I love that character and I like the actress. I mean, and
definitely makes sense. She would be one of the perfect people to show up.
Yeah.
Bo-Katan makes sense to show up. It's one of those. Is Mando gonna go? See that's the thing. Is Mando gonna go recruit some extra people?
Exactly.
Because that's not what he was asked to do. He was just asked to show up.
I mean, is Carl Withers going to come back with boxing gloves? I don't know. Take on.
He's dead, isn't he? In canon? Didn't he die in that?
No, he's alive.
Oh, okay. Okay, I was thinking. Never mind. I'm thinking of somebody else.
Don't kill him off.
There were a couple people that died in that one episode that that I was like, oh, I'm sad those people died because I thought they were kind of be the gang,
Yeah. Did you react just like that? Oh,
kind of.
Man,
it was like,
sad.
Oh, that wasn't expected. I thought they were going to be the gang to be together for a while.
Yeah, I think.
But I don't know. I'm conflicted. I almost don't want to see a whole lot of the Mandalorian in the rest of this.
I agree
show.
with you.
I think we got too much of him in this episode.
I agree with that. I totally do. I mean, don't get me wrong. I enjoyed it, but I think it was too much.
I think this would have been a great first episode of season 3.
Yeah, my deal is, and how I felt about it, I really liked it, but it no longer felt like the Book of Boba Fett, and it was almost saying, yeah, we can't carry our own, and I don't know. I mean, it was all pre-planned. I would have.
Maybe that's why there's 7 episodes instead of 6.
Could be.
Because this episode didn't need to happen for it to make sense.
No, it didn't.
There's
but your previous thesis of that it's the door into
the back door
season 3,
backdoor pilot.
I think it's a tease.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, it's absolutely yes. Yeah, and like I said, we knew. Andrea, we were thinking about that, and that would be awesome.
Yep, Cobb Vanth.
I love the actor, and I like the character, so
I expect to see him. I don't see any reason not to.
Yeah, and are you talking about in The Mandalorian or
no? In Boba Fett.
Really, you think he might show up? Cobb Vanth?
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
Man, I hope so. I mean, I would love to see that, but I don't know
because I'm sure the Pike weren't the Pikes part of the problem when he became the sheriff.
Well, I know him and I know him and the Sand People were the two that were having conflict with one another, and then that's when Mando brought the two people together to fight against that dragon.
Right.
So,
well, I mean, with him being on Tatooine, it just kind of it's a good fit.
No, I mean,
for Cobb Vanth to just show up.
He could bring the dragon.
The dragon is he dead?
Bring another dragon.
Hey, speaking of that Rancor, we got to see more cowbell, more Rancor.
We haven't seen him ride the Rancor yet.
So that has to happen. So
there's your army.
There you go, the Rancor. That's it. That's all we need.
That's it.
That's all we need is Fett on the Rancor eating pikes left and right. So, and especially the mayor and his little.
Would that be considered sushi?
You know he's going to pick somebody up
and
just shove him right in his mouth, and it's going to be brilliant.
It's going to awesome. You hear the crack of the neck. It's. I look forward to that. I don't have anything else. I don't know if there's anything else, any final thoughts about it. I know I'm looking forward to the show, and of course, too, we're going to be back. Same time, I want to say Bat Station. We might get canned for that. But anyway, we'll be back next Saturday. Oh, Saturday. No.
Friday.
Friday. I was thinking of something else. I was thinking of my happy time. But I will be back Friday. That's a different show, and that's pay-per-view. So...
Only friends.
Pay-per-view. So anyway,
Mark started in Only Friends.
Yeah, that's awesome. We got to make money somehow. So yeah, what would I say again? Friday. Yeah, Friday nights.
Friday
nights. Yes, 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern, and we'll be talking about episode 6. Of the Book of Boba Fett or Mando or Grogu, whatever they're going to call that title. So I don't know. It's been fun. Any final thoughts? Any final thoughts before we?
Could he bring the Bad Batch?
That would be interesting. What that would be like? Well, it'd be like doubles.
Is that the right timeline?
They'll be the same actor. The guy who, it'd be
be.
Yeah, it'd be the actor who plays Fett like what 5 times?
5 times.
You know.
Well, the Bad Batch all look different in the cartoon.
Oh, it won't be like what's the
That's
one?
True.
Yeah, it's not going to be like the Big Bang Theory where they're all dressed like the Flash. And they go to a costume party and they say, "Hey." So anyway, no.
Yeah,
but
I don't know. That one's one of those. Did they live that long? I don't know.
That's right. Well, let's
I don't have anything else.
I have nothing else. That's when it's time to say goodbye. Let's kick off the outro.
This has been the Speaking Nerdy podcast with your host, Mr. Mike Schilling.
And my good friend and compadre, Mr. Ricky Pope, and a.k.a. Florida Man. Wow, that was something else. Man, we just milked that for everything. You ever had? I wonder.
Think so.
How do you milk a Rancor?